Okay. Hello. Oh god. Okay, first of all, I need to apologize for last week. I know I ended up canceling 2 streams instead of just the one, but like the weather here has been kind of weird. It's been like it's usually hot, but when it rains, it like really rains. So when it's raining, the electricity tends to fluctuate. And I don't want to risk it because like 1 minute everything is fine, and the next minute it's just the electricity just cuts off, and then it's a weird stream. Like there's no point in streaming for like 10 minutes and then the electricity going away, then coming back 10 minutes later, then and just going back and forth like that. So I decided that it'd be better to just kind of like not stream, and decided to like just schedule the stream for today instead, because even with Honkai there's like not a lot, like Star Rail there's not a lot to do. So I felt like this was like a better option. But yeah, hello guys, welcome to this week's stream. We're doing something a bit different. Like I see a lot of stuff about like am I the asshole and all of that stuff, right? And I thought like, okay, maybe why not kind of just try it out. Like I think the Am I the Asshole subreddit has some of the wildest stories I have ever read. Like it just makes me just stop and stare for a moment and think like, wow, people really behave like this. It's kind of shocking. So I haven't read any of these stories beforehand. I'll just be going through the subreddit along with you guys, so it'll all be fresh for me as well. There's no planned reactions or anything like that. So let's find out if you are the asshole. You probably are, but oh boy. Like usually whenever I see these reaction videos on YouTube, they usually do ones related to like maybe bridesmaids going crazy. Usually it's very like wedding related for some reason. Like I don't know why, but American weddings are kind of wild. Like are they supposed to be that way? Like I've never been to a Western wedding, right? And I know, like, listen, I'm Asian. I know how drama works, especially when it comes to weddings. But the way, like, people behave in Western weddings, like, according to the Am I the Asshole threads, it's wild to me because you won't find anybody behaving like that here. You start that sort of behavior, you're gonna get beat. I sue. So it's like, I've seen so many, like, stories, wedding-related stories on that subreddit, and it's just always so shocking to me. Especially it's like, oh, my husband did this thing, or like my bridesmaid is like being weird, I told her not to do this, but she's doing that one particular thing over and over again. Because like, see, firstly, in Indian weddings we don't have a concept of bridesmaids, right? We don't have the concept of bridesmaids basically, and everyone dresses to the T. Like you wear your fanciest clothes, and so obviously there's no drama about what you're wearing because everyone wears their fanciest clothes, their finest jewelry. And in Western weddings you have like a bridesmaid concept, so everyone wears like particular colors, right? So the bride will tell you, okay, I want you to wear this dress in this color, in this style. And no matter how unflattering it is, I've seen 27 dresses. Yeah, no matter how unflattering it is, you have to wear it. So, like, my experience with Western weddings is only through, like, what I've seen on TV and what I've read on threads. So, I mean, I'm not sure how accurate they are, but yeah, we don't have a concept of bridesmaids, and, like, you have a lot of close family that comes for these events. Like, it doesn't matter how big your family is, like even like third cousins and all of that, they will be invited and they will most probably show up. So, but even then they can't start drama, because if they start drama, then they will get beat by their parents. You know what I mean? There is just, yeah, people can be passive aggressive, but they don't start drama to a level where they're screeching and fighting and pulling each other's hairs to the point that you have to call the police. I've never seen that happen, but I've read about it on like Western weddings. I still have my bridesmaid's dress. It's a really nice dress, but pretty. That's nice. Oh boy. So yeah, this should be interesting. Let's find out if these people are the assholes. I don't have a lot of faith, but let's do it. Okay, so this is the first story. I just read the beginning part of it. I haven't read anything else, so let's see. Am I the asshole for telling my stepdaughter to ask her real dad for money? Yeah, that's not nice. I don't. Okay. I am 40. I think that's male 40. Started dating my wife 9 years ago. My wife came with a 6-year-old daughter, Jay, now 15. My wife and I also have twin boys together. I make the majority of the money while my wife works part-time at the boys' school. Okay. Jay has never liked me. I think it is because my relationship with her mother confirmed her mom and dad are getting back together. Meanwhile, I'm always there for Jay at his soccer games, help her with homework, and drive her places considering I'm the breadwinner who pays for most of Jay's things, which is completely fine. I love Jay. Do you though? Let's find out. Her biodad is an absolute piece of shit full of broken promises, always letting Jay down. He's selfish and prioritizes himself over his kid. Jay still adores him and wants him in her life. Okay, fair. I mean, not the biodad being a piece of shit is not fair, but her adoring him, like she's a kid, right? Okay. Because of that, if Jay usually tells me I'm not her dad and takes it out on me verbally, if her dad's being his usual piece of shit self, which hurts honestly. Okay. 2 weeks ago was Jay's birthday, and her dad promised he would come to her party but didn't show up later. After the party, Jay got a text from him saying sorry he got caught up with things but will make it up to her. Jay and I were the only ones up, so when she started sobbing, I heard. I instantly started trying to comfort her. Okay. After a few minutes, Jay freaked out, telling me to leave me alone. As I was leaving to give her space, she said, God, you're not even my real dad anyway. Stop trying to act like it, first name. What the fuck? That is a child who has never gotten beat. And no, I don't condone child abuse. It's just Asian household. We get beat if we talk like that to our parents. My God. Right. I understand I'm not her biodad, but constantly getting verbally abused just because I'm not her biodad, even though I've always been there for her, is exhausting. We didn't talk unless needed until yesterday. Jay asked for money so she could go get lunch and go shopping with a few friends. After how she treated me, I decided to say, why don't you ask your real dad for money, because you constantly remind me I'm not him. Oh no. She started crying and ran to her mom. My wife said I was harsh because I know how shitty her biodad is, but she understands because of how Jay treats me. I also told a few friends and they all called me an asshole. So I feel like it needed to be said for Jay to finally realize how much I do for her, even though I'm not her real dad. Oof. I would get beat too, never call a parent by their first name. Exactly. Like, see, it's not even about parents. Over here, as long as somebody is older than you, you have to treat them with a certain degree of respect. It doesn't matter whether they're related to you or not. If they are older than you, then you treat them with respect. That is like a basic rule that we have. So we don't ever call people, like older people, by their first name. It's always like uncle or aunt or something like along those lines, or you call them by their surname, like Mr. or Mrs. or something. You get what I mean, right? So we don't ever call people by their first name. So this is anyways like bizarre right then and there. Oh wait, no, hold on, I forgot. I have music lined up. Right, there we go. Yeah, so we don't ever call people by their first name. That's like a big no, not people, like older people. And with the way she's behaving, like, oh my God, you're not even my real dad. Like, yeah, your real dad's not even your real dad. Like, you know what I mean, right? Your real dad isn't even acting like a dad. So are you sure that's who you wanna that's whose corner you wanna be in? Like, I don't know, man. Some people are just wild for some reason. Like, I understand that she's also a kid, like she's a teenager, so teenagers do be behaving like that. But still, like, that's so disrespectful, like on so many levels. But the question is he an asshole for telling his stepdaughter to ask her real dad for money? I feel like that comment kind of came out of anger. Like, you get angry, so you tend to become snarky. What the fuck? A hopeless romantic, all my nights surrounded by females, all the side, I guess I have to. I don't know what's happening with you, my guy, but this ain't the place for it. Right, so coming back to the teenager with teenage angst. Like, at the end of the day, teenagers are disrespectful to a certain degree because they do go through this stage of teenage angst where they think the whole world is against them. So even when the smallest of things goes wrong, they tend to they want to find somebody to blame for it. So I think that's like kind of what Jay is going through. But like, kind of hard to say that the stepdad is an asshole, because I also see where he's coming from. Because if someone is constantly snarky to me, I would be super pissed. Yes, I am Indian. So I think in this situation, not the asshole. That's where I'm leaning towards, mostly because just because a teenager is going through teenage angst and just kind of being rude because of a hurtful situation with her biological dad, obviously that doesn't mean that she can lash out on the stepdad all the time. That's my thinking, at least, because according to the post, that's the first, it's not the first time she's done it. So I'm gonna go not the asshole. Oof. So complicated. Honestly. I am also sister. Yeah, everyone pretty much figures it out because of my accent. It's pretty telling. I don't try to hide it, it's fine. And hello, welcome. I'd still consider him an asshole for that. He shouldn't have lashed out back on her. I mean, I get that. I get where you're coming from, but so, as in, from my personal experience, obviously this is a completely different situation, but from my personal experience, I am so used to my parents. It's very typical for parents here to just say lines like this when they're pissed off at you, that at one point you're just like, yeah, just hand over the money. You don't get hurt anymore. But maybe that's just my personal experience. Can you explain what this is about? So we have a subreddit known as Am I the Asshole? So on that, people post stories, their personal experiences, they did something or someone did something to them, and basic question is, was I an asshole for reacting in a certain way? So we're going through those stories and kind of passing judgment, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm gonna go with not the asshole. It's very a very typical parent response. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Okay, let's see another story. What looks interesting? Am I the asshole for doing that? What? Oh, okay, this looks kind of interesting. Let's see this one. Okay. Can you guys see? Yeah. Am I the asshole? Made a guy cry after throwing the same insult back at him with slightly more vigor. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of reads, but I don't know, there's something with That's kind of interesting to me. Let's see. Saturday night, out on the town with some friends. One introduced us to another group. One of the guys I'd never met took an instant interest in me. What's the weather like up there? Was that shirt a donation? And the fun one, did your mum cut your hair? What the fuck? I decided to throw that one back at him due to him having a terrible balding haircut. I said, no, your mum did after she was done blowing. Oh my god. Oh no, that's not PG-13. I know, pretty tasteless, but I'd already had a few and the guy was annoying me. His demeanor instantly changed and he shouts, never mention my mother's name. But you're okay with mentioning their mother's name. I'm just gonna go with they because no, they haven't mentioned their gender or anything. And then gets dragged off by one of his friends. Turns out his mother died a couple of months ago. Yeah, okay, ouch. A mutual friend went to see if he was okay and apparently he was crying quite badly. As I said, I didn't know the guy but felt a little guilty afterwards. Am I the asshole? Edit. My mum is also currently dying of cancer, which is why I felt guilty as I feel his pain slightly. But him making a mum joke specifically didn't bother me. It was more that he'd been at me for a while and I didn't know him. Oof. Okay, that's... Eek. I'm gonna go with not the asshole. Mostly because, like, firstly, this guy was coming at this person over and over again. Like, there's literally no need to be rude to somebody you've just met. Like, is that normal? Is it just me? Because when I meet people for the first time, I am, like, very quiet. That's also because I'm an introvert, but still. Is it normal to start insulting somebody you've just met? Yeah, no, he was not. He was just returning the energy. Yeah, exactly. Not the asshole. Similarly happened today. My friend from college after 3 years posted a video with a girl in late night drive. I'm just tease him by he woke on hair, but what the fuck happened? He swore. What? Why is that a reason to start swear? Why would he do that? Okay, that's so weird. I think your friend has some issues. You may want to just like keep a distance. But yeah, this I'm gonna say not the asshole because firstly, you don't know about somebody's family situation when you've just met them. It's not like they're wearing like a t-shirt like, I am fragile because of so-and-so reason. So, you know, you can't possibly know. And this guy was insulting you, just return that energy, so it's fine. Let's look at the comments. What's happening? Not the asshole. He did a mum joke first. If he's that insecure about his own mom, considering the situation, then he should know better. Exactly. Because now we also know that the OP's mom is also like fighting against cancer, so his mom joke is equally offensive. Like, listen, there's a basic rule, right? If you can't take it, don't dish it. Like, that's the saying, right? Like, if you can't handle the criticism, then don't be the one criticizing somebody else. I don't know what the reason, but he's a friend from close group. People change like season, summer, winter. Yeah, it might be better to just keep a distance because it feels like that friend was basically kind of taking out his anger towards something else on you. Or like maybe he didn't want people to notice the girl. I don't know. It's just better to just keep your distance until this person gets like their emotions sorted. But yeah, this is not the asshole. Don't dish it if you can't take it. I hope I'm saying that right because I've said it twice. Okay, let's see another one. What? Holy shit. Okay, we're reading this one. Okay. Oof. Okay. Let's see. Oh wait, you guys can't see the... Is this better? Yeah. Okay. Am I the asshole for just posting? My wife miscarried on my mom's social media after she announced my pregnancy. What? Wait, what? Oh boy, this does not seem... this is the... I already have a bad feeling about this. I haven't even read it, but okay, let's see. My wife was pregnant with our first child. We weren't telling anyone yet because it was early. Makes sense. My mom was over at our house and noticed some obvious clues of pregnancy. She asked about it and we were honest. We also asked her to please respect our wishes and not go telling people because it was early in the pregnancy and we wanted time to ourselves to absorb it. Okay? The pregnancy was unplanned but welcome. My mom lasted 2 weeks before she started posting about becoming a grandmother. Why must parents do this? We hadn't told her yet. We lost the baby. Oh no. I was still feeling dead inside and I saw her post, so I just commented that Elise miscarried a week ago. I guess it took about an hour for my mom to see the comment and delete her post. We have been getting condolences, which we don't want, and my mom has been getting crapped on by friends and family for being so insensitive. She is mad at me for not telling her that we had lost her grandchild. I think I was an asshole because I replied that I didn't want her blabbing my family's personal life again. She's crying and my dad says I have every right to be upset, but that I could have been nicer. I'm just so angry now that I don't know how to feel. Ooh. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, this is kind of tricky. Because like obviously you're trying to decide whether this person is the asshole or not in this situation where like there's like a lot of sensitivity needed here, right? And firstly, the mom shouldn't be blabbing. Like, it doesn't matter how excited you are. If like they don't want to tell people, then you should be respecting that choice, right? You should be respecting OP's choice not to tell people yet. But just because you're excited and you want people to congratulate you, that's why you're posting it on social media. Because see, I don't see any other need to post about something on social media unless you want everybody to know. And you know, for those people to come and go like, oh my god, congratulations, so excited for you, and all of that nonsense, right? So there's like a lot, like I think that's like one of those things about social media, right? Because people have become so needy when it comes to getting validation of any kind. So yeah, you don't post things like this on social media unless you want some kind of attention. So firstly, it's like I feel like the mom is definitely to blame in this situation. And yeah, OP should not have commented on the post and should have texted her instead. But I can also see like from OP's point of view that firstly they're going through like this horrible situation where, you know, this is a horrible situation, and you know, you go online and the first thing you see is your mom bragging about it, like sharing this news with everybody. You would probably be emotional and end up saying something you don't mean to. So I definitely can't judge OP for that. Like, yeah, they could have handled it a bit better, but considering what OP went through, guess it took my mom about it. Yeah, you know what, this is on mom. I'm sorry, this is on the mom. She should have like not posted about it in the first place. And yeah, she's getting whatever she got. And the fact that she's making it about herself in this situation, like, oh, okay, you know, you suffered a loss, but what about me? People are being mean to me. Like, listen, this isn't about you right now. Like, I'm sorry that people are shitting on you, but like, it's not about you. So I'm gonna say OP's not the asshole. Most definitely not. Like, I feel like it's more insensitive on the mom's part to not understand that, like, the people in her family are going through, like, they've lost something so important to them and they're probably grieving, and all you can think about is like how that makes you feel and not them. I agree, he's not the ass for that, and the mom needs to know better. But why do moms like to do this? I don't know why moms like this. I've seen so many stories where, like, you know, OP will tell mom not to say anything and mom will just go ahead and blab. Like, listen, I know my mom pretty well, and I know that if I tell her something like this, she will blab. So I just don't tell her. I keep, like, things that I don't want other people to know, I keep them to myself because she can't keep a secret to save her life. Like, she might say that, oh, I'll never tell anybody, but I know that secret is gonna be in her stomach for like an hour, and then after that she has to just let it out into the world. So I just don't tell her, like, I would never tell her something I don't want anybody else to know. But like, I feel like moms need to be more respectful when it comes to these sort of things, that because not everything is about you, and you need to stop making it about you. Let's see comments. Okay, let's see. My dad says that I have every right to be upset, but I could have been nicer. What's the nicer way of saying my wife had miscarried? I think his dad meant clearly your pregnancy was all about your mother and your miscarriage is also about her, which is very upsetting to her. Exactly. Because whether people are shitting on you or not, you could just make a quick post to say that, hey, I didn't know at the time, I'm very sorry. In this time, please be respectful, and I just want to be there for my son and my daughter-in-law. Like, you could just clearly make that post, but instead of that, you're just sitting and crying and whining like a baby. Like, you are an adult. Take responsibility for your own mess. I told my mom that I don't like sharing things with her because she ends up spilling it to everyone in the family. She got so offended that told everyone in the family. Yes, Mom. Thank you for proving Sue wrong. Clearly, you can keep a secret. And that's the thing, right? Like, parents tend to do that as well. You tell them that, you know, we are having a problem because you do so and so thing, and then they'll do exactly that and go like, oh my god, I can't believe you have a problem with me. Oh my god. Yep, I think everyone here agrees that OP is not the asshole. So let me get this in a ball sack. Your mom, against your wishes, started posting publicly your private information, so you commented that private information was no longer a reality. In less of a summary, she got pooped all over. She pooped all over your wishes, apparently had no idea what happened because she didn't call to follow up or check up on you or your wife, and in a moment of anger you told her, very tactfully I might add, that she shared that information prematurely. I wouldn't share any information with her ever. She's completely breached every ounce of trust I have in her, and I don't know her. She shared something that isn't hers to share. I'm so sorry for your loss, and I wouldn't blame you for going low. I think that LC means low contact for a while you recover. Yeah, low contact would be like the best option, but I feel like no contact would be better because I don't see OP's mom chilling the fuck out and leaving them alone. I think she seems to be the kind of person who needs to be heard. So it's not like about what you need in this time, like in this period, it's about what she needs. So I don't think she's gonna be the type who's gonna accept low contact. I think she's the type who's gonna keep pestering you until you just block her. So yeah, I don't know, man, that's so messed up. Parents, do better. Like, stop sharing your child's personal information with the world just for a few likes on Facebook. Just delete Facebook altogether, you don't need it. Nobody needs Facebook. Oh, God. Okay. Hydration break. God, that was so much to take in. Okay, let's see. What is the next one? Okay, let's try this one. Yeah, cool. Am I the asshole for being rude to a woman who yelled at me for using the disabled toilet? Oh boy, it's already been marked as not the asshole, but I just want to read it anyways. I have an ileostomy. This means that I have had my colon removed and I have a stoma. This is on my stomach and it's where my poop comes out from into an attached bag. You usually can't see it and it doesn't look as though I have any kind of disability, although it is legally classed as a disability. To empty it, I need to kneel by the toilet and rinse it out with water. I fill a travel bottle up in the toilet and use this to rinse out the bag. Not rinsing is gross because of needing to kneel and have water on hand. I need to use a disabled toilet whenever I can. I have a radar key to get me into them. It was given to me after I had my surgery. Using a non-disabled toilet is very difficult, hard to kneel, very little privacy, and no sink on hand. Okay. Today I was at Marks and Spencer's and had to empty my bag to use the disabled toilet as usual. FYI, almost all disabled toilets have signs on them that says not all disabilities are visible. When I tried to come out of the toilet, my way was blocked by a woman who started to berate me for using the disabled toilet. Apparently, she saw me go in and had been waiting for me to come out. She was stopping me from leaving, threatening to call the staff. I tried to tell her that I need to use the toilet and showed her my special radar key. She just kept getting angrier and angrier and louder. We had a crowd by this time. In desperation, I finally pulled up my shirt and slid my trouser down a bit and showed her my ileostomy bag. I pointed out the sign on the door that said not all disabilities are visible. I told her she was ignorant and needed to learn to mind her own business. I then told her to go F off and get out of my way. Am I the asshole for being rude? I know I should have been nicer, but she would not stop blocking. No, hell no! Hell no! You don't need to be nice to people who are being entitled for no damn reason. Like, no, Obi, you're not the asshole. Like, I think I've seen this conversation so many times online about people, perfectly abled people, who go after anybody who they think is not disabled. Like, let me kind of like explain myself properly here. Like, they'll see somebody using like a disabled parking or a disabled toilet or any amenity for disabled people, immediately assume that they don't need it and start attacking them instead of just having a conversation. Like, if she had asked politely, this could have been easily sorted, but no, they start screaming and shouting because it's not about protecting people, it's all about just feeling morally superior to them. Because like, this lady did not need to be standing outside the toilet and wait for her to come out. Like, that is unhinged behavior. Is that Karen behavior? I think it would be classified as Karen behavior. Like, this person just minding their own business, living their life, and you just see somebody doing something that you think is wrong, and you're just standing outside the toilet going like, just you wait, come out and I'll show you. Like, I can just imagine this woman standing outside and kind of reciting everything that she's gonna say, like all the points that she's gonna bring up. Like, okay, first I'll tell her this, then I'll say this, then I'll say that, and I'll definitely be morally superior. Like, please fuck off. And like, people who go through this, let me assure you, you do not need to be sweet to Karens like this. Like, you don't have to go out of your way to be nice to them when they aren't being nice to you. Because clearly, the woman could have asked nicely, right? There was no need to start screaming and shouting. Like, you're not even listening to the person in front of you. Like, clearly, like, OP was trying to tell her that, hey, I do have a disability, that's why I was using the toilet. And she's just not willing to listen. So, like, that's definitely on the woman. She doesn't deserve any kind of niceness. Pretty sure Reddit was gonna agree with me on that. They already have, but still. Okay. Not the asshole. I had a friend who once parked in a disabled bay and was yelled at by someone nearby. He waited for them to finish, then removed his prosthetic leg. They went white as a sheet and got out of there pretty fast. If you're so much of an ass that you have to go at a stranger in public knowing nothing about them, you deserve everything you get if it blows up in your face. Doubly true when the person doing the yelly lecture is themselves able-bodied. Exactly. If you came at me with a visible disability and need to point out my disability is invisible, I'm going to assume that you are having a shit day. But if you are able-bodied, who the fuck asked you? Go police your own shit. People shouldn't have to expose their personal medical information to get treated with respect. So I feel like there's also this thing, right? When you constantly go after people like this, like, especially when you don't know anything about them and you immediately assume that they are not disabled because, like, you can't quote unquote see their disability, you're actually causing more harm than you are like doing good, because you're freaking out disabled people and making them think that they shouldn't be using these amenities that are made specifically for them just because you think they aren't disabled enough. Like, you're not helping anybody but by behaving this way. Again, there is a very easy way of dealing with the situation, and that is minding your own fucking business. Like, like, I go outside, I'm not gonna look at somebody using the disabled toilet and decide to just stand outside the bathroom just so I can scream at them. I'm gonna mind my own business because I understand that all disabilities are not visible. It is that easy. But for some reason, some people don't understand that. It's so weird. Like, these situations shouldn't even be happening. That reminds me situations online where people demand to know your trauma. Like, if you mention something traumatic, they will be like, oh no, you have to tell me exactly what traumatic thing happened to you, otherwise you don't get to talk about it. And it's like, dude, I don't even know you. Why the hell do you want to know about my life? That's weird. Why do you think you're entitled to this information? Just, it can't be so hard to mind your own damn business, is it? Like, I don't even know, man. Like, when I see people behaving this way, sometimes I'm just like, did this really happen? Are there really people like this? And of course there are, but still, good God. Okay, let's move on. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Am I the asshole for ignoring my boyfriend for the rest of the night because he told me, you should know how to cook because you're a woman? Babe, you shouldn't be ignoring your boyfriend. You should be breaking up with your boyfriend. Just break up and move on. Don't ignore. Hello, welcome. Like, honestly, that is the kind of comment I would just be like, okay, bye. This was kind of fun. I'm gonna go now. Let's see the story though. Me, 25F, and boyfriend, 25 male, were having dinner at a restaurant. My boyfriend made a comment about only knowing how to make mac and cheese from the box, and I told him I knew how to make it from scratch. My boyfriend looked at me and said, you should know how to cook because you're a woman. Good God. I got really upset and ignored him for the rest of the night. The next day, he stated that what he said was a compliment and wasn't meant to offend me and that I was overreacting. How is this a compliment? The dots are not connecting. How is this a compliment? Good God. I still don't take it as a compliment. It's not. But it's got to the point where I'm thinking maybe amazing, just wrong for... Okay, maybe I am just wrong for overreacting and he's right. Am I the asshole for ignoring him after that moment? Yeah, exactly. That's not a compliment. Like, men will just say anything to get out of trouble. Oh no, sweetie, it was a compliment. Me punching you in the face could also be counted as a compliment if I call it one, right? Anything. Good God. Like, listen, Obi, you need to break up with this man. And just... No, this is just no. Like, good God. Cooking is a basic life skill that everyone should know. And I know it's very hypocritical for me to say that as someone who can't cook for shit, but I'm also not like holding it over other people that you are of this specific gender, so you should be cooking. Like, I can't cook. I handle my own meals somehow anyways. I don't make it somebody else's responsibility. And him going like, you know, I can just only cook mac and cheese from the box is not something to be proud of. Everyone can make mac and cheese from the box. It's not rocket science. You should know how to cook because you're a woman. You should learn how to dodge my punches. I can't stand people like this. And then the audacity of him saying that, oh no, sweetie, it's a compliment. Where is the compliment? Am I blind? I can't see it. It's like, I mean, I know there are multiple reasons why people date, you know, people like this. Like, he could be a very nice person but have low-key sexist views. But that one low-key sexist view is gonna be enough for me to go bye-bye. Not gonna deal with your bullshit. Because see, if he can say you should know how to cook because you're a woman now, it's only gonna get down. It's just going downhill from here. I assure you, OP, it's just gonna go downhill Save yourself the trouble. Don't, if you're gonna ignore him for life. Block that guy. Let's see what Reddit has to say. Not the asshole. Yeah, that's not a compliment. That's just good old-fashioned patriarchy. Trust your gut. Exactly. It's just like so stereotypical that, oh, if you're a woman, you should know how to cook. That's not a compliment. I'm just repeating myself. Yes, he showed her who he is. She should believe him. Yes. Everyone have sexist views. Only few of them don't know how to control them. Only few of them don't know how to control themselves. I don't think everybody technically has sexist views. I think it's more about, if you realize, like, when it comes to women should know how to cook because, they are women, that thing is something that's been debated for so long that everybody at this point knows that it's pretty sexist to be, if you believe in that it's pretty sexist. So if you are refusing to change that belief, right, if you're refusing to change that belief and you're still going with it, then that's an issue here, right? Because having a wrong view but maturing and growing is another thing. But just holding on to that wrong view for the rest of your life, right? This is a 25-year-old man. This is not a kid. This is a man. And at this point, like, a lot of people already know things that they shouldn't be saying. I mean, stereotypes are equally bad though. Because stereotypes do stem from sexism in a sense. Like, it's a stereotype that women can't drive. Where does that come from? Sexism and patriarchy, because that's what you're made to believe, right? Women can't do this, women can't do that. So those stereotypes do stem from a very bad place. In what world is a misogynistic insult a compliment? Exactly. Like, seriously, he should learn how to cook too. He has hands. Dude, no, dude. Let's not go there, dude. No, we're not doing that. I would pretty much say that's a stereotype and it's not true. Because, okay. Okay then. Like, oh my god, today, as someone with a dad that can't drive, no, let's not exactly. Oh god, today, like, I remember, I was on Twitter and I come across this video. And in that video, like, they've made it like, oh my god, look at the way a woman handles her household. And in the video, it's like a girl, like, a couple are having lunch. The guy is on his phone. Like, he's scrolling while he's eating. He's not, like, they're not having a conversation. And he just looks up, motions to this, to the container with the rice in it, which is right in front of him, by the way. It's not even like he has to walk to get it. It's right in front of him on the table. And he motions to his wife to serve him. And she opens the box and there's nothing inside. The rice is finished. So, because this guy is so, like, busy with his scrolling that he doesn't even notice that his wife took the rice from her plate and gave it to him. And I just sat there for a moment thinking, what the fuck? Like, really? Who the fuck does that? Like, not the giving the rice to him part, but the part where he can't use his two hands to serve himself. If I was in that position, I would serve divorce papers and be out. Not just be out, I would take that rice with me. Like, fuck you. You don't get to eat. And then people are like, oh my god, self-sacrifice. I'm like, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Like, there's self-sacrifice and then there's this, whatever this was. What is this? Let's move on. Okay, this one says, you are the asshole, so I just want to read that because I'm kind of curious. Why is this person the asshole? What did they do? Let us see. Am I the asshole for asking my son to come help with his kids while his wife was being induced. Wait, what? Okay. Why is this person the asshole? Huh. Interesting. Throwaway account for privacy. I had to repost because my first post was stopped, made a few edits. Okay. I, 71 female, have a son, 39 male, whose wife, 36 female, gave birth to their fourth child 9 months ago. Induced means basically they have, so if the wife is unable to go through natural birth, like, God, that's very hard to explain on stream without using certain words, but basically it's by medically inducing labor. Wait, that wasn't hard at all. I am dumb. You're basically medically inducing labor because the body isn't doing it automatically. It's not exactly C-section. I think there's a drug that they use. I haven't watched Grey's Anatomy in a very long time. Okay, let's see. I, 71 female, have a son, 39 male, whose wife, 36 female, gave birth to their fourth child 9 months ago. All of her births have taken a long time, and she has been induced the last few times, including this one. My husband, 72 male, and I were babysitting the 3 older kids, 5 male, 4 female, and 2 female. Boy, that's a lot of kids. She was induced at 8 in the morning, and by 1 in the afternoon, there was not much progress, if any at all. Since the kids are a handful, I told my son he needed to come home to help for a few hours, since it looked like it would take a really long time. Since they live half an hour away from the hospital, he could go back if anything happened, so it is not like he wouldn't be present when the child was born, which I of course understand is a big moment for him and his wife. My son took great offense to my request and told me to suck it up, bribe the kids with treats, or whatever worked for them. And that there was no way that he would leave his wife's side unless there was an emergency with one of the kids, like they were admitted to the hospital or something. That is the age of the kids, not the number. Oh no, I know that's the age of the kids. 3 kids is still too much for me. 1 child is terrifying. 3? Good God, no. Anyways, I told him that the kids were their responsibility and that they couldn't expect us to babysit around the clock if this took days. He told me we should not have said yes to babysit at all if he wouldn't stick it out, since one never knows how long birth will take, but that he would get someone to come, and then he hung up. 3 hours later, someone showed up and we went home. We offered to babysit for a few hours the next day, but our offer was declined because the people who came to relieve us stayed until the baby was born and my son came home. After this, they have not asked us to babysit once and have hired a sitter instead, which we feel is a waste of money since we are available for free. We get to see the grandkids if we visit them, but they very seldom visit us compared to before. I tried talking to both my son and daughter-in-law, but they said they felt we didn't respect them at all since we wouldn't even let her give birth in peace. True. My husband and I agree that they are overreacting since she did not in fact give birth until 7 the next morning, 23 hours after being induced, and our son could have easily helped us with the kids for a few hours. So am I the asshole like my son says I am for helping us with the kids, even if his wife was being induced but had little to no progress? Edit 1. This is my first ever post, had to repost and also delete one time because I did it wrong apparently. 2. I have nothing to do with the woman making weird comments about autoimmune issues caused by a dog. What? What? My daughter-in-law was not in active labor when I asked. They were walking around in the hospital trying to get things started. Edit 2. 4. We were staying at their house. 5. We only want some relief. We were planning to continue babysitting. Saying we only wanted to do 5-hour total is unfair. So, I'm gonna go ahead and say they were being the assholes here. Because what the fuck? Like, imagine your wife is in labor and you have to start scrambling and looking for somebody to take over for your parents to look after your other kids because your parents suddenly are like, nah, can't do it no more, bye. Like, this is the sort of thing that you discuss with the couple beforehand, because labor is such it's not a stable period. You don't know what's gonna happen when. And like the kids are pretty young, like one 5-year-old, one 4-year-old, and one 2-year-old. So if you're going to agree to babysit like somebody's kid while they are preparing for their next kid, you need to know that it's going to take a while. It's not going to just happen. Labor takes a long time. Good God, man. I will say I do get, yeah, I understand watching such young kids can be exhausting as hell. But again, that's something you discuss with the parents, right? You tell them that, hey, yeah, we can watch them, but it would be nice if there was some kind of like system where we could take a break as well. I'm still surprised they went for the fourth. To each his own, I guess. Like if they want a fourth one, that's completely up to them. Not gonna judge them for that. But I am judging the grandparents. Because see, from the looks of it, they did babysit before, so they would have an idea of exactly how much they can tolerate, right? Because, come on, being parents yourself, you have to know that babysitting young kids is not an easy thing to do. And for this, like, for them to kind of just back out and go like, hey, I know your wife is in labor and she's probably in pain because, yeah, waiting for that baby to come out is so uncomfortable. But we still need you to come home and take care of your kids. Like, if they had discussed this beforehand, there could be a system, right? Like, okay, we will watch the kids from this time to this time, and then somebody else can watch them, and then we'll come back the next day. Because when you have that system ready beforehand, it's not stressful for the parents. But if you back out at the last moment, like, okay, we watched them for 5 hours, now we want to go, then the dad and the mom especially, who's already in this uncomfortable situation, has to scramble to find somebody else to take over at the last moment. So yeah, that's kind of shitty in my opinion. So I'm gonna say, yeah, you're kind of the asshole, and Reddit agrees with me. So clearly I'm right. And also this line where she says, I told them the kids were their responsibility and that they couldn't expect us to babysit around the clock if this took days. Like, ma'am, it hadn't even been 1 day. Clearly it had been 5 hours, as it's stated like in the edit, right? It's only been 5 hours and you're already crying? Really? Like, see, personally, not the biggest fan of kids. So if somebody asked me to babysit their kid, I would probably say, yeah, not gonna happen. Like, I feel for you, bro. I will come visit you at the hospital, but I cannot see you. Like, I can't babysit your kid because that's not a good idea. I'm not good with them. Don't volunteer and then be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go now. Before you'll know. You're the asshole in a major way. You know birthing takes a long time in general, but you know that your son's wife takes longer than usual. Yeah, also they knew that she takes longer than usual. You agree to babysit during birth knowing these things. Asking your son to leave his laboring wife for anything short of an emergency with one of his children is a gross manipulative thing to do. Who knows why you're on such a big power trip over your son and his marriage, but it's obvious to anyone looking at your actions. Good for you, good for your son and his wife hiring a sitter instead of playing into your delusions. Yeah, they could have held out, or they could have seen if they could call someone else or something. Like, I get it, but the parents do have a lot on their hands. Like, don't say yes if you can't do it. Like, quitting halfway through and then, like, not even helping and finding somebody else to take over, that's a pretty shitty thing to do. Especially telling the dad, like, hey, leave your wife and come back. Excuse me? What the fuck? Who does that? Parents, man, parents. Do be wilding. Okay, let's see. What does Reddit have in store for us next? Now, what is this about? Am I the asshole for speaking to my child in Polish even though my boyfriend asked me not to? Huh? Okay. Let's see. I, 21F, have been dating my boyfriend 26M for 3 years now, and we have a son who is 13 months old. Not too long ago, my son said his first word, and I decided now might be a good time for me to teach him Polish, as in addition to English. For the past days, I've been speaking in Polish to him. I know he won't learn straight away, but in a few years he might be fluent. Okay? However, when my boyfriend saw me saying Polish words to him, he said that I should stop. I asked him why, and he said it would be unfair if we could communicate with each other in a language he couldn't understand. He even said Polish wasn't a useful language to learn like Spanish or French. I acknowledged this, but I continue to do it even though my boyfriend has asked me to stop. I feel guilty, but I do want to share my first language with my child. I also feel hurt that he doesn't care about my language. What the hell? Hello, welcome. And I repeat myself. What the hell? Why is that such a big deal? Isn't being bilingual a good thing? What? I am confusion. Yeah, she's so not the asshole. Like, firstly, that's her first language, so obviously you'd want your kid to know that. Like, my first language is Hindi. And I would want, if I have kids in the future, which is very unlikely, but if I have kids in the future, I would want them to know how to speak that. Because I don't want to say something in Hindi and for my child to just stare at me like I'm a weirdo. Guy just feeling left out. Oh my god, Lucy, hi! Guy's just feeling left out. Guy needs to get a grip. Also, guy can also learn Polish. Just saying, like, he can just learn Polish. It's really not that hard. Okay, it is hard to learn a new language, but if you're feeling left out, just learn it. It would also make your girlfriend happy. And yes, Hindi is my first language. I don't understand people. And isn't being bilingual a good thing? I'm so confused. It's not a useful language to learn like Spanish or French. Sometimes some people just make me want to scream. And not in a good way. Oh my god. Not the asshole. He said it would be unfair if we could communicate with each other in a language he couldn't understand. Then he better hurry up and learn Polish. Exactly. Yeah, why should you shut your child off from so many opportunities just because you don't want to learn language? Like, I can bet the boyfriend can only speak English and cannot speak any other language. Like, make the effort, sir. Good god, that's a lot of comments. Okay, never mind. Let's ignore that. But yeah, listen, if you want to teach your kid your first language, just do it. Screw what the boyfriend wants. Nobody cares. Oh god. Some people just do the most. No, it doesn't seem very interesting, so I'm gonna scroll away. Oh, okay. Let's look at this one. Is this fine? Yep. Am I the asshole for telling my brother-in-law to fuck off after he called my son a girl for being in therapy? In the holy year of 2023, are we still using girl as an insult? Oh boy, this is a disaster from the beginning. My 38M 15-year-old son has been in therapy for the past few months after his best friend died. Oh no. It was very hard for him, and while I've always been there to help him, my wife and I felt like having a therapist would be the best. He seems to be making a lot of progress, so I know it's working. Unfortunately, my brother-in-law is a men shouldn't express emotions kind of guy. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be? I've always thought that was bullshit, so I made sure my wife and I were on the same page about not letting that happen. Last night, there was a family gathering. My son had just had his therapy session, so we picked him up and drove there. While we were there, my son was telling me about something they talked about, and my brother-in-law must have overheard because he started on a tangent about boys not needing therapy and calling him a girl. I probably wouldn't have reacted as much if my son hadn't been there, but my son was visibly hurt by what he was saying. I was pissed at him and told him to fuck off, and that right now my son is more of a man than he is. I would have liked to say more, but I didn't want to upset my son further. I admit that I might have gone a little too far. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I think you didn't go far enough. I think things should have been thrown at your brother-in-law, from my perspective. I admit that I might have gone a little too far, but I was defending my son. But I don't think someone who shames someone else for being healthy while also being sexist is being a man. Agreed. My brother-in-law just glared at me and stormed out of the house. My wife told me that we were leaving, so I got my son and we left. My son didn't say much the rest of the night, but my wife sure did. She was mad at me for doing that. What the fuck, woman? And saying I disrespected her brother. What about the part where your brother disrespected your son? Are we gonna ignore that? I tried to explain that I was just defending my son from him, and she wouldn't take it and is ignoring me. I'm still mad over this. My son was ashamed for expressing his emotions, and then everyone gets mad at me for defending him. But all of their reactions are making me second guess myself and wondering if I'm the asshole. No! God, that has to be like a very sexist family that your wife is coming from for her to think that her brother was somehow in the right for what he did. I'm wondering if this is an Asian family. Like, before you go off on me, I've seen this happen in a lot of different families here, where just, if it's okay to kind of trash somebody's child in front of them, but if you end up defending your child, then you're the one who's in the wrong, which I think is really messed up. And there is like so much wrong with what the brother-in-law said. Firstly, there is nothing wrong with therapy. If it was an Asian family, they wouldn't have been in therapy in the first place. Yeah. Shouldn't be saying yeah, but yeah. That's unfortunately kind of true. For some reason, there's like a lot of stigma here about therapy because people really believe that if you're in therapy, you must be an insane person, which isn't true. You could need therapy for several reasons. You don't need to have a problem to go to a therapist. You could just want to go to a therapist to kind of unwind and like talk to someone about things that are stressing you out. It could just be as simple as that. He did good. He's a good father. I hope he stays a good dad. Yeah, he is a good dad. The mother though, like, no. I don't care, like, if like your brother was the one insulted, he deserved it. I mean, in my personal experience, I have noticed that mothers are very defensive of their brothers for some reason. Like, no, my brother, you can't say bad things about my brother. Yeah, but your brother's being an asshole, so where do we go from here? Like, I feel so bad for that kid, though, because to be ashamed for going, especially after he went through something so traumatic already, and then, like, the uncle is like, oh, you're a girl. Firstly, nothing wrong with being a girl. What the fuck? We are in 2023, right? Oh, good God, I never understand people. But definitely not the asshole. Nope, no way. Now the asshole, your brother-in-law disrespected your child who is going through something incredibly difficult at a young age. You did your job as a parent by standing up to him. Everyone has their different way of dealing with trauma. Yeah, that is true. That is definitely true, right? Everyone has their own way of dealing with trauma. The issue is when you shame somebody for dealing with trauma in a particular way. Just because the brother-in-law is probably somebody who didn't cry during such a situation doesn't mean that everybody has to deal with it in that way. I cannot stand this man. I don't even know this guy, and I can't stand him already. And honestly, the dad was much more civil than I was, because like, if I was in the dad's position, I would be clawing faces. Not gonna lie. He needs to point out to his wife that her brother was actively attacking and hurting their son. Is she okay with their son being attacked? If so, bigger problems in their marriage. I would suggest that the wife most likely also needs therapy. There seems to be like a case of internalized misogyny going on over here, because like she's completely okay with her brother's sexist comments, right? So there's definitely something to look into that, but I'm not sure if she would be willing to see a therapist about that, because I've often seen like people, parents especially, they may be okay with their children going to therapists. They'll be like, okay, you need therapy, that's fine, like, you know, go for it. But they won't do it themselves because they think that them as an adult needing therapy is a bad thing. Which, again, it's not. It doesn't matter what your age is. If you need help, you should get help. Definitely not the asshole, and the brother-in-law needs to get punched in the face. At least once. Maybe twice. Thrice wouldn't be bad either. I myself went through a similar phase in life at an early age. I never thought therapy once, just dealt with it, and at the end everyone has their own ways. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have had this stage in my life where I did wanna like talk to somebody, because just I felt like therapy would be more appropriate for me. It didn't go the way I wanted, unfortunately, because again, when you're going for therapy, you also have to kind of, you know, you have to try your best to find somebody who can understand your needs. The person I went to couldn't, and after that I just never really had much of a chance to do it again. But again, it's just very dependent on how you deal with the situation and what works for you. It shouldn't be that if a technique works for person A, then it'll work for person B. Everybody has their own way of dealing with traumatic situations. I mean, as long as it's not hurting somebody else, it's fine. Okay, let's see. Would I be the asshole? Okay, OP. For revealing where my kids' college money came from. Okay. Hello, I am a single mother, 43, of 2 kids, 18F and 14M. Their fathers are not in the picture. Recently, I was contacted by my ex-brother-in-law, 40, ? Okay. He told me that when he was married to my sister, 38, he started college funds for my kids. They separated, but he still wanted to give them money for my children. It's not a full right amount, but it would mean my daughter won't have to work during college unless she wants spending money. And it's more than what me or my parents can give her. Okay, dude, that's very nice. Obviously, I was overjoyed at this, but I asked him not to tell anyone because my sister has grown quite bitter about their divorce. I'm not sure what went down, but as far as I know, they had separate finances, so I don't think it would be due to money reasons. When I told my family we had received a donation to my daughter's college fund, everyone was overjoyed but also really suspicious, because there are times in the last few years that money would have really helped. That's just how I look at it. Sorry about that. Okay. Someone in my family started the joke that I got this from my boss for favors. Good God, man. Why? Why would you do that? It's not true, but my sister and brother won't let it go. Let's get takeout tonight. Hey, ex, go sleep with your boss and get it. Dear God. I'm not doing a good job of explaining it, but it's really quite hurtful to have my family saying these things even as jokes. I'm considering telling them brother-in-law is the one behind it. It will stop them from insisting on knowing the source, but it may hurt my sister to know he have us. I can't really ask people for advice without it leaking out. I've told one girl from work and she suggested for some anonymous opinions. I don't think you should tell anybody. Like, I know, like, it probably sucks having to hear these jokes, but I'm pretty sure that if you told your sister, she's gonna have a hissy fit. Like, considering the way she's already behaving about you having this money, yeah, I wouldn't tell anybody about the source. Maybe tell your kids, but yeah. Hello, hi! Welcome. But yeah, no, I would say no. Yeah, not the asshole, but yeah, tell your kids, but not anybody else, in my opinion. What the hell, the song stopped? Hold on, let me rectify that. Wait, why did I close that tab? Oh god, clown energy. Give me one moment. I would have told them at their face. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with telling them. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with telling them. But she also said that her sister's kind of like bitter about the divorce. So if you tell her that, yeah, you know, your ex was the one who gave me the money, she's most definitely going to try and make it a problem, not just for the ex, but for OP, right? So it's, at this point, you just have to kind of see, is it worth it or not? Like, the sex jokes definitely aren't good. And it's like, you know, when I read stories like this, I'm kind of glad I'm in a family where nobody would say the word or even insinuate towards sex openly. Because, like, what the fuck? Like, those jokes aren't funny. They're not tasteful. They're obviously bothering somebody, but you're still going ahead with it because you want to know the source. And the issue here is that if the ex-wife were to find out, like, the sister found out that it was her ex-husband, she might try to get money for herself. It's not their fault they got divorced. Yeah, that's true. It's not her fault. Definitely not her fault. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Yeah, it's definitely not her fault that they got divorced. But the sister does seem like the kind of person who would try to make it OP's problem. And she might try to, like, get the money. Like, because it's like, oh, why should your kids get this much money? Why not me? I don't think OP needs to tell anybody. Like, at one point it'll kind of die down. Just tell your kids. I think that's what's more important. Like, your older daughter who's gonna go to college, just tell her that this is where the money came from, but we can't tell anybody due to so and so, you know, reasons. Sister is just bratty about it. Yeah, but is that, like, worth it though? Like, the headache that would come from her being bratty about it? Because with a lot of posts like this, I've noticed that when the truth comes out, one person in the family gets super upset about it, then everybody else gets upset about it and then starts hounding OP about it. Like, oh my god, how could you take his money? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, shut the fuck up, man. Just shut up. If you're not gonna pay for the college yourself, then don't complain about where the money came from. Unfortunately, people just don't know how to stop. Let's see some comments. Not the asshole for considering it. However, there is nothing to be gained from telling them the source of the funds. Your family will switch from accusing you of sleeping with your boss to sleeping with your ex-brother-in-law, which will be an even more unpleasant situation. Exactly. Sounds like some distance from your sister and brother are in order until they stop their behavior, and telling them why you are low contact if they ask. Yeah, that's like that's also another thing. Like, if they found out that OP got a generous donation for the kids' college fund and they immediately assumed that OP was sleeping with her boss, if she tells them that it actually came from brother-in-law, then they're gonna assume that she's sleeping with brother-in-law. Like, it's like not a situation where you can win if the truth comes out. I mean, you're not winning without it either, but like, the jokes will only go on until, like, they find something new to latch on to. God, toxic family members are the worst. Especially when it's like, you know, you want to get rid of them, but you just can't. Or tell them anything ever Why can't your kids go to school with whatever funds are available and offer no info on how you paid for it? I miss the days when shit like how you paid for college, that new house or car, anything was personal and not discussed in general. After reading Am I the Asshole for a while, I've realized that if everyone would just shut the fuck up regarding controversial, private, and personal information, everyone would be happier. Indeed. But unfortunately, we live in a society where everybody just needs to know. They just want to know, like, oh my god, how did you do that? I need to know. Joint family have the most toxic people. I'm from a nuclear family, trust me. Family in general, joint or not, can be so toxic. Though the thing about joint family is that the toxic person is like right in the room next door. And unfortunately, no matter how pissed you are, you can't just start swinging fists. Okay, I'm gonna say OP is not the asshole, but also should not tell brother or sister about where the money came from. Tell your kids when they go to college, but not your siblings. Okay, let's see. Since we're on the subject of toxic family members, toxic siblings, actually. Oh. You can't even curse at them in your own. Yeah, I know. It's like you say, like, you just say fuck off, and they'll be like, what did you just say? I can hear you. The walls are thin. My god. I don't think I could ever live in a joint family. I would probably lose my mind in like 2 hours. I did curse at them once and didn't do it. Oh no, I hope. Oh no, that could not have ended well. Boy, I can't even imagine. Oh no. I once cursed at my sister once when I was like really angry, and like I never heard the end of it, so a parent hearing it is just worse. Okay, let's see what this is. Am I the asshole for staying moved out when my mother says she can't handle my brother on her own and is begging me to come back and help with them? Ugh. My 19F brother Troy, 12M, has been a nightmare to deal with since he was a little kid. He curses at and calls our mom Diana, her first name. I think a big reason for this is because Troy's dad isn't in his life and my mom hasn't really handled it in the best way. Thankfully, he was sleeping, I survived. Oh, okay, good. God, I can't imagine the heart attack, like you turn around and your dad's just right there. But also, I do not understand this culture of where you're calling your mom by their first name. No. The only times I've ever said my mom's first name is when people asked me what her name was. Otherwise, I'm just like, Mama. Just that. Let's see. Mom makes excuses for Troy like he hasn't been the same since his father left, but I don't think she's tried therapy and she's basically given up and decided that Troy is just going to be this way and there's nothing anyone can do about it. My mom tells lies to hide how bad things actually are with Troy. I think she's in denial herself and it's her coping mechanism to avoid being too overwhelmed with the situation. Because it's not as if Troy acts any better in front of people outside the family. Troy was kicked out of his public school after an extremely cruel prank. Oh god, I don't like how it's in quotations because then that makes me wonder exactly what this nightmare of a child did. But she told people that she started homeschooling Troy because she realized that gifted kids need to lead their own education. He's in a homeschool co-op right now and is on thin ice because of how he acts. Slap the boy. Listen, I don't condone abuse. But yeah, this kid needs some beating. My god, this just like brings up so many childhood memories because like in my house, if I as a child did something that my parents didn't approve of, I would get my ass beat. Oh my god. I've had to help with Troy and have ended up doing a lot more parenting than a sister should have to. Oftentimes my mom couldn't get off get off work, and I would end up having to take home Troy or talk to his teachers because he got into trouble. It's a strain because Troy really doesn't respect me much more than he does our mom. He flips me off and calls me names and yells over stupid things. Troy doesn't show any real respect or appreciation even when I'm trying to do something nice for him. My god. OP has so much patience. I got slapped a lot as a kid, so I know it works. Yeah, same. God, is it weird that we are so casual about being slapped around as children? My friend Haley's sister just got married and moved in with her now husband, meaning there's an empty room at Haley's house. Haley and her parents said that as long as I pull my weight with chores and stay out of trouble, I can live with them and pay basically nothing in rent. I took Haley's offer and have been living with her for about 4 months. Unfortunately, things are not going well with Troy and our mom. She told me that she can't handle Troy on her own and begged me to come back home because she needs help with him. We should get rid of corporeal punishment. Also me, sometimes they just need a good smack. Oh my god. My mom offered to buy me a car and pay for all his insurance and gas if I came back. I know this is not an easy thing for her and means she is desperate. I told my mom that I was sorry, but I like my current living situation and don't want to go back to Troy's chaos and disrespect. I told my mom that I loved her, but she said I was breaking her heart and she accused me of not even caring. I feel awful because I know my mom is desperate and she can't handle Troy, but he doesn't respect me and I can't deal with him either. Am I the asshole? I don't think OP is the asshole in this sense, because clearly this, like, the issue with this kid isn't that he's just a little naughty, likes to play pranks. Like, bro, whatever prank he played got him expelled from school, and he's also on thin ice with his homeschooling situation, so nope. My brother saw me on a bunk. She slapped me right there. That apparently worked, and I was more I bunked school. Yeah, I remember one time, like, my mom was sleeping. Like, she likes to sleep in the afternoon, and as a kid I didn't like afternoon naps, so I dragged one of the dining room chairs to the door, opened the lock, and left the house without telling her. I was chill. I went over to see one of my friends to play games, and it was all cool. And in the evening, I'm coming back, and my mom's just standing there outside the house, like, welcome home. And I knew I was screwed. But, and with this kid, it doesn't even seem like a one-time thing. It seems like something much more serious. And I don't think OP is an asshole for wanting to get away with that situation, because it honestly sounds so stressful. Like, I have annoying cousins, like younger cousins. They're annoying as fuck. But I can't imagine them doing anything so serious that they would get kicked out of school. I was also forced to sleep in noon. I did that daily and got slapped most of the time. Oh my god. This is such a universal thing for Indian kids. Like, yeah, I got smacked because I would refuse to sleep in the afternoon. Yeah, that's chill. It happens. But yeah, I don't blame OP for not wanting to go back. I think the mom should try and put this kid into therapy, though I don't know if, like, it would help much at this age. But, you know, whatever issues he's going through, if that's not controlled, right, like, controlled at this stage, it's just gonna get worse as he grows older, and he might just end up doing something pretty horrible. Like, I see this child's future without therapy, and it is not very bright. Let's see comments. Not the asshole. Your mom is overwhelmed and not making good choices, but emotionally manipulating her child to take care of her younger child is not a good look on anyone. The offer of the car is tempting, but it sounds like you already realize it's not worth it. What your mom needs to do is figure out how to parent her son. Just stay where you are for as long as you can, not only for yourself, but so she's motivated to do what she needs to do. Good luck. Yeah, and it's also like, see, the mom knows there's a problem here. She's just trying to cover it up, and covering up a problem really doesn't help. You have to find a solution for it. I think therapy will help him. He's just gonna get worse as the time passes. I mean, it's worth a try, I think, because a child psychologist would actually know exactly what's happening with this kid and why he's behaving the way he is behaving, because that could also stem from issues from like the fact that his dad isn't around. And since OP never mentions the father anywhere, I'm thinking the dad is just not in the picture at all, and that could obviously affect a child a lot. And so the child psychologist could help narrow down exactly what the issue is here, because you have to do something, right? You can't just let him be and do whatever he wants. That's not exactly good parenting. Yeah, the mom should definitely be stricter instead of just ignoring everything he does, but yeah. I say OP is not the asshole. I'm guessing Reddit is eventually gonna agree with me as well. Okay, let's see what's next. Actually, before I see what's next, I need to drink water. I have been talking non-stop for like an hour and a half. This is also everyone's reminder to hydrate. Well, the father is a role model most of the son look up to. Yeah. The mom definitely needs to kind of take charge of the situation. What? Oh no, I want to read this. What is this? Am I the asshole for filing charges? Okay, Reddit has already dubbed this not the asshole, but I still want to read this. Because why would you need to file charges? So my roommate's mom and brother James, 30 to 40, come over to visit. His mom and James live out of the state, and my roommate hardly sees them. We have a ring on our back door. I got a notification and it looks like James sneaked out through the back with my PS5. He's on camera stealing it. I told my roommate about it. I saved the video to my phone. It had only been a couple of days and my roommate hasn't said shit, so I corner them and I say I need the PS5 back tonight, and James avoids the conversation and leaves. My roommate's mom flips her shit saying I shouldn't leave my stuff out if it's expensive, and that's common sense. If I was worried about it, I should have put it in a safe place. I would think the safe place would be the house where I'm living, but sure, go off, I guess. I told her I have James in camera taking it. She's like, so? I told her fine, I'm filing a police report, and she's like, that's her son and he's practically my family since I live with her son. I said, so? I'd file a police report on my brother if he pulled that crap. So far, James won't say what the PS5 is, but it's not at the hotel, so I'm following through with it in case he sold it. The roommate is panicking, saying the next couple of checks he'll buy me a new one. He's off with money, so I took the video by the police station and filed a report. The officer was nice and told me to file a temporary restraining order on James because he feels like something is wrong with him, so I did. I made a copy, and James can't come over to the house or be around me anymore. My roommate is pissed because his brother does have issues and they've been trying to work on it. I told him since they take no responsibility for his brother's stealing, I'm also alerting the landlord about everything in an email tomorrow. My roommate panicked and called his mom, who said that that's not how I should be handling things, but even with a new PS5, I have to re-download my games and I don't want a new one. And I feel like needs some accountability karma, because why would almost 40-year-old man think it's okay to steal? The situation is so weird. Like, yeah, he stole from you, but that's your fault because you left it out for him to steal. Huh? Like, talk about victim blaming. Like, that really went, no, it is your fault that he stole your PS5 because you left it in your room. James is supposedly 40 years old. Dear God. Dear God. And the way the mom is behaving, it's like, listen, if anybody in my family was ever caught doing that, I would be so embarrassed and so apologetic. I would not be trying, like I would not try to spin it in the way to make it seem like the victim was the one who was in the wrong. Isn't he just an adult version of the previous story except the mom? I mean, the mom didn't exactly go around stealing someone's stuff, so it's not exactly the same. I would say the mother in this situation is like the previous story, because even she is completely ignoring the wrong shit her son is doing and trying to like cover up for him by blaming OP instead. Like, it's your fault you left your PS5 just lying around in your house. Of course he's gonna steal it. God. Also, I can't believe the roommate. Like, I would want a new roommate after that. Like, oh no, please don't call the cops on my brother even though he stole your stuff and won't return it. He's a nice person, I swear. Heart of gold, loves his mom a lot. Fuck you, man. Not the asshole. You legit try to avoid calling the police altogether, like entirely. You got told to kick rocks and eat dirt. You legit could tap your renter's insurance, but only if you have proof you filed a police report. You were kind of out of options here other than buy a new one on your own, and James and his mom showed zero intention of ever owning up, returning, or paying out. Even your roommate was chill with this, so get a lock for your door and keep your shit there. It sounds like mom may have no problems heading to your place and picking stuff up. The police aren't likely to do anything other than keep it on file, but at least you can hit up renter's insurance if you have to. Why all these things? I mean, I won't say it just happens in Western countries, because we do have a lot of our own horror stories. We just don't. I don't think you would find them in a thread, like a Reddit thread like this. I think it's just bad people are just everywhere. It's kind of universal at this point. You'll have shitty people doing shitty things everywhere. But yeah, OP is definitely not the asshole. OP gave them an option like, hey, you can give it back to me, I won't press charges, but they refused to listen, and then on top of that try to blame OP. Which is like, yeah. Ooh, everyone sucks. Interesting. Am I the asshole for not babysitting my grandson? My daughter has been living with me for the past couple of months, and while she is finally working, only part-time, it took for me to nearly force her to find a job. If that kind of thing happened in UP, it would be a different story. yeah, it would be. It really would be. My grandson is 2 years old and my daughter is 20. His father is in and out of his life, so I primarily babysit my grandson while my daughter works, runs errands, etc. I love my grandson and my daughter, but it's not my due responsibility to take care of him 24/7, and I'm not required to do so. I raised my kids and I did my best, so I should not have another weight on my shoulders or raising another child because she had him so young. Okay. Yesterday, my daughter worked from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and I worked overnight from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. And this is my regular full-time shift. I told my daughter that I would not be able to watch him because I was tired. Nevertheless, she put him on my bed and said she didn't have a sitter. I'd had enough of being forced to watch him against my wishes in my own home, so once she left, I called her, texted her, but no response, and she ignored my calls. At that point, I grabbed my things, grabbed my grandson, and dropped him off at the police station. Ma'am. This is a ma'am, right? I'm not sure if this is a ma'am, but ma'am. And told them that my grandson was abandoned in my home, that I couldn't reach my daughter and I was unable to care for him. Bro, what the fuck? They said okay, got her contact info and was unable to reach her, in which at that point I went home. A few hours later, my daughter called me crying, telling me that the police turned him over to Child Protective Services and is refusing to give him back. Oh my god. They are saying she neglected him in child abandonment, which she did. My daughter thinks I'm the asshole. It's unfortunate she no longer has access to her son, but this is simply not my response. So, what? What the fuck? Oh my god. moment to process this. The hell did I just read? Oh my god. Yeah, everyone does suck in this situation because what the fuck? Okay, listen. I get that you're like, okay, I'm tired of looking after this child and I want my daughter to be more responsible for him. But that is a conversation you kind of need to sit your daughter down and have with her and just let her know that enough is enough. Because, like, see, yeah, I understand OP's point about, like, I raised my kids, I did my best, and, like, now they've grown up, but your daughter is only 20 years old. Right? Your daughter is only 20 years old. I just, in Western societies, I've noticed there's this thing, like, when you turn 18, you're out of the house for some reason. Like, I know it's not true for everyone, but I've read so many stories where people are like, you're expected to leave the house when you're 18 years old. But the thing is, an 18-year-old may be an adult legally, but mentally, it doesn't mean that, on your birthday, as the clock strikes 12, you're automatically an adult. You're not automatically mature enough to handle everything. And your daughter's just 20 years old. And yeah, maybe she had the kid when she was really young, but oh my god. And yeah, daughter is definitely in the wrong for not, like, for depending on grandma. Is it grandma? I'm not sure. Yeah, let's go with grandma for now. Like, for depending on the grandmother to, like, take care of her son, because yeah, that's messed up, especially if the grandmother is working herself from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. That's a night shift. So you're just going, like, yeah, that is kind of messed up, because the grandmother is also working. So how can she do her work and also look after the kid? That's not an easy thing to do. But going to the police station and reporting your grandson as abandoned, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that? And then going like, oh well, yeah, maybe she can't get her son back now because he's with child protective services, but that's not my problem. That's your grandson, what's wrong with you? And then she has the audacity to say, I love my grandson, but that baby's life is going to be ruined. Like, CPS is not the best place for anyone's child to end up. She shouldn't have taken him to the police. That's messed up. Yeah, exactly. That is so messed up. Like, why would you take that child to CPS? I've heard horror stories about the CPS, right? I've heard so many horror stories about them, and I'm just like, why would you do that? Holy shit. And if can you imagine if the daughter is never able to get that child back? You literally just gave your grandson away. Yeah, everyone's definitely the asshole in this situation, but the grandmother I'm gonna lean more towards the grandmother being an asshole, because this is not just about babysitting. You just literally abandoned this poor child and probably ruined his life forever. I feel so bad for that kid, because that kid's only 2 years old. What nonsense is this? I feel pity for the boy, yeah. And how do you do something like that and not die of guilt? Like, how are you so nonchalant where you're just like, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate she doesn't have access to her son, but it's just not my responsibility. What the hell? How heartless do you have to be? What's wrong with people? Let's read some comments. I mean, are you for real? I get the daughter was totally out of line, but didn't you feel scared as his grandmother dumping him at the police station and now he's taken by the CPS? Your daughter is the asshole for doing that, but that was really, really heartless and cold of you as a grandma to him. Now that CPS is involved, they will continue to be involved, so I hope there's more to this. I'm going with everyone's the asshole, because I can't fathom someone doing this to their grandchild. He had to be scared to death. That poor child. That one was wild. Because, good God, I cannot imagine why somebody would do something so horrible, because you have to know the consequences of your actions. Shall we do one last one? I want to do something wedding related. Let's see. If I type in bride, what shall I get? Buying my dress before the mother of the bride. Oh, okay. Let's go with this one. Oh, has it been deleted? No, it's there. Okay. Wait. Can you guys see? Yeah. Let's see. Am I the asshole for pissing off the bride at her wedding? Maybe. Reddit has already dubbed you the asshole, so. I26F was friends with my friend from what? What is this sentence? You were friends with your friend? Really? Oh my god. Hi26F was friends with my friend from high school. She had a wedding in November and she invited me as a bridesmaid. I happily accepted and asked her if she could accommodate me being a vegan, and she said she could. A month before the wedding, she said at her guest list went 52 to 48. She said her aunt has a miscarriage and her husband and their children won't be coming. Okay. The venue won't allow more than 2 choices of entrees for parties under 50, and she had already picked a fish and beef option. I asked her to make one of her options vegan, and she said she already had everyone choose what they wanted. There was only one vegan, me. She told me she would give me a $50 Uber gift card and I could order whatever I wanted and have it delivered. I wasn't happy about it, but decided there wasn't anything to be done. During the wedding, I ordered food, but the Uber didn't come early enough, so I didn't have an entree. I ate more of the appetizer and was really hungry. I had a bridesmaid speech after the ceremony and started by joking about the venue not wanting vegans attending and how hungry I was. Oh, good God. The rest of the speech was about their love and everything. The bride took me aside and ripped into me after the speech for ruining her wedding, which was over the top. I told her it was just a joke and she was pissed, and now months after the wedding, she won't talk to me. Why do people do this? Like, listen, OP, I understand you're hungry, but like, see, I understand like it sucks being the one who's excluded in a sense, but weddings are fucking expensive, right? Weddings are really expensive. And I can only imagine how much the bride and the groom would have to pay for each person's meals. And it won't be possible for them to just add a vegan option just for one person. You're the only one getting a vegan meal. And even then she was ready to like pay for your food. Like, listen, I can't add a vegan option, but here is money and you can get whatever food you want. And just because you were pissed that Uber didn't deliver it on time, you're making the bride look like an asshole for not getting you food. What? She did get you food though. OP, why are you like this? Why was that necessary? I am hungry, so I shall make a joke that would make the bride seem mean and rude, and then wonder why the bride doesn't want to talk to me. Boy, I mean, I don't know, man. I would be annoyed if something like this happened and like OP would be like, you know, I'm a vegan, but the venue doesn't accommodate for me. And then like as soon as she said that joke, my shoe would come off and it would go flying at OP's head. If I was in this situation, like, come on, OP. Let's see what else we can find. Oh wait, come in. Oh god, my bad. No mind. Okay, let's see this one. Am I the asshole for ruining a wedding, although I told the bride I shouldn't sit next to my ex? Okay. I was in a relationship from 18 to 24 years old. He was 5 years older than... Oh no. Wait, she's 18 when they met and he's 5 years older. Okay. He wanted children and marriage in the next 2 years, and I didn't want that at the time, so I broke up. I was sad about the breakup, but I knew it was the right decision. I wanted to study without a child. I was 1 year away from finishing, travel with friends, and enjoy my 20s. Okay, yeah, that's fair. After 1 year of breaking up, I had ons with a friend who had... What? ONS? What does that mean? Moving on. With a friend who had crushed on me for years, and after realizing I was pregnant, we stayed together. Oh, one night stand. Oh, the brain cells connected, but a little too late. We moved together and in another city because of our jobs. After the birth of our daughter, we married. I couldn't be happier with my husband. We're now together for nearly 5 years and happier than ever. I didn't know if my ex knows, but that I became a mother. Since I moved away while being pregnant, I missed a lot of birthdays and our mutual friends, and he didn't follow me on social media. Okay. Now is the wedding from one of our mutual friends, and I was happy about the invite. But then I got a message from another one of our friends. He told me that nobody told my ex that I became a mother and married, and that he didn't seriously date anybody else after the breakup. He is successful in his job and concentrates on that, but his friends are worried that he is lonely. Okay. That's weird. They requested that I come without my child. We actually had this planned before, so my husband and me have enough time to reconnect, and my mother-in-law would be happy to have our daughter overnight. And don't mention my husband. I disagreed. Before I asked the bride if she wanted me not to come and told her the request from our friends. She told me that I should definitely come and that she doesn't see any problem with it. Okay. When we arrived for the wedding, we realized that we were seated next to my ex. I found that strange. I went quietly to the bride and told her that would probably be not the best idea, but she brushed it off. My ex barely talked to me and drank a lot. My husband chatted with another person from our table and mentioned our daughter after 2 hours of sitting at the table. My ex broke loose. He made a big scene and accused me of lying to him about not wanting children. It was so embarrassing, and ultimately my husband and I left while my ex got carried away by the other guests. Since then I got calls from mutual friends calling me the asshole because I rubbed my luck under my ex's nose. I'm a little bit confused. The bride is unhappy and accusing me of ruining the wedding since I could just not mention my daughter and that she was sad about the scene it caused. What? What the fuck? Is OP a child? I mean, is the ex a child who can't manage his own damn emotions? What the fuck? It's like something out of a drama. Like, the ex was probably thinking that, oh, when the wedding happens, we'll meet again and, we'll reconnect and we'll be together forever. I don't know, it kind of feels like everybody was expecting OP to baby her ex's feelings, even though they haven't seen each other for a very long time. Like 5 years is a long time. So whatever fantasies the ex had in his head about them getting back together, that's on him. I mean, I don't think there's any context missing. It's like pretty straightforward here. Like they broke up because they had very different things they wanted in life. OP ended up pregnant anyways, got married to that guy, that like her husband, and is living happily. Like, it's not something that she planned for, but still. And it's been 5 years, bro, move the fuck on. I And also it's kind of on the bride, because like OP told you that this is not a good idea, I should not be sitting next to him, and you were like, nah, it's okay, it's fine. Oh, yeah, I don't think it's fine. What the fuck? What a man child. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to be sympathetic with the ex, because like literally it's been 5 years, bro. Please, you are not a hero from a K-drama that, oh, it's been so long, but I'm still waiting for you. I've seen that kind of man. He's still stuck up on the girl, and on her, the girl end up, I mean, I don't think it's her responsibility though, because like she didn't end up ghosting him, right? They had a conversation about what they wanted in the future, and he wanted to get married and have kids, and she didn't want that, so they broke up. And like, it's not her responsibility to constantly keep updating him about the developments in her life, because they are broken up at this point. I mean, she moved on with her life, and he should be moving on with his life, instead of like expecting her to constantly keep him updated. And like, any of the other friends could have easily told him as well. Like, they had mutual friends, and they could have easily told him what happened. Like, they're like, oh, we're worried he's lonely, then why don't you just tell him that, you know, she's moved on, then you should too. I don't think this is an Indian thing that we're talking about. This is more like, seems like a Western wedding. But even then, like, it's, I don't think in any way it's OP's responsibility, whether they are in India or anywhere else, to be like, okay. Yeah, like, people need to kind of just let it go. Like, you know, if somebody says that they're not happy with you, then that's probably because like the relationship has kind of hit that end point, and you kind of need to let it go. You can't just keep holding on to something and like kind of like making your feelings somebody else's responsibility. And like, with the bride as well, like, you, like, OP warned you shit would go down, but you were like, no, it's fine, look, your wedding getting ruined is on you. That is on you. OP is not the asshole. It also kind of sucks that OP can't talk about the things that makes her happy, because she has to be like, oh no, what about this one guy I haven't seen for 5 years, what's he gonna think? Like, I literally saw her break down because of him, and there were times you thought, yeah, exactly. So for those kind of relationships, you have no choice but to break up, because if the person you're with is like emotionally abusing you to the point where you're kind of having a breakdown, breakdowns just don't happen, right? It's best to just leave, and if that person doesn't let you leave, you have to ghost them. You just don't have a choice in that matter. Yeah, OP is definitely not the asshole in this situation. My ex broke loose, he made a big scene, and and the person everyone should be blaming is the ex, because he's the one that caused the scene, right? He's a grown-ass man who should know how to control his feelings. You didn't cause the scene, your ex did. He's the asshole. And you know what? Your friend is the asshole too, for sitting you all next to each other, knowing all that history, and she still thought it'd be okay. Nope. I'm pretty sure the friend was probably thinking that, oh, OP and ex will talk, they'll reconnect, they'll get back together. Like, people like to meddle that way, and it's just so fucking annoying. Seriously, why the hell would she put OP and her husband next to her? Her ex. They say that stir the shit pot get to like the spoon. There is no way the bride didn't know what she was doing. Either she was hoping for drama, or hoping to make OP feel like shit once she saw her ex. Yeah, kind of feels like that. What the hell is happening here? Oh my god, I do not condone violence, but good thing he feels like he kind of deserved it. And you know what, your friend is an asshole, you're sitting like knowing all the history, and she still thought it would be okay. Yeah, it kind of, like, this is such a weird situation where firstly everyone is babying this grown-ass man as if like it's his feelings that matter the most, even though it's been 5 years. Violence is common where I live. My guy, I hope you're okay. Yeah, OP's definitely not the asshole. The friend is the asshole. The bride is the asshole. The ex is the asshole because he's like, oh, how dare you be happy without me. Oh yeah, she should just live the rest of her life thinking of the one who got away, even though he wasn't the one who got away. This isn't a Katy Perry song. Good God, man. People are so weird. Let's start wrapping this up. Hold on. Right. God, that was a lot to take in. Like, some people are so wild. Have you ever been in UP? No, I don't think so. I can't recall ever being in UP. Yeah. So anyways, some people are so wild. But there is a lesson to be learned here, and that is, 1, don't make fun of people who are going to a therapist. There is nothing wrong with that. If you need help, you should get help. 2, not all disabilities are visible. Don't be an asshole. You're not entitled to somebody else's medical history. Don't know why you have to teach that to grown-ass adults. 3, don't abandon your grandchild with the CPS. Man, what is wrong with you? I'm just like still thinking about that story and still going like, why are people like this? Just be decent people. God, do you guys have any stories where, you just sat back and just thought like, am I the asshole in this situation? I would love to know. Seems interesting. Do I have any stories like that? Oh, do share. I'm interested. If you're okay with sharing, of course. I think I have one too. Whew. I'm just trying to remember the story properly. I think it was one of those situations where one of my friends ended up liking me, but then that friend also had a girlfriend and he would keep flirting with me, and I warned him dude, you need to back the fuck off, because he would be like, oh no, I love my girlfriend so much, and I'm like, yeah, why the hell are you around me then? And then I kind of just stopped talking to him, and then he wouldn't leave me alone. I stopped talking to him because of this whole situation, but he wouldn't leave me alone. And in the end, when it kind of just escalated, I just kind of ended up telling his girlfriend about what was happening, because I felt his actions weren't cool at all. And then she broke up with him, obviously, and he was like, how could you do this? Because of you, my relationship ended. And I'm like, yeah, I think the person at fault here is you, not me. I broke up with my girlfriend. I was drinking with my friends after a few days, ended up crashing into a guy who was too drunk to give a fuck. He was my new boy. Oh my god, my guy. Let's control the drinking. Ended up beating him again outside my... Dude, not cool. I'm blanking out, but I'm sure I have a few, and somewhere I know I was just the asshole. Maybe I was the asshole for telling his girlfriend about what he was doing, but I don't know, it just didn't feel right to me to kind of hide it for his sake when he was actively trying to flirt with other girls while he was with her. You can't be all lovey-dovey with your girlfriend and then try to be with somebody else at the same time. It just doesn't work that way. I think the messiest thing about that situation was the fact that he wanted, Like, he was like, I like her, but I'm not okay with the way she looks. So it was just like, what the hell, dude? Then why are you dating her and leading her on? But it's like, you want to hold on to somebody until you get someone new, which I think is so fucked up. So I don't think I was the asshole for telling his girlfriend, even though he thinks I was, which is like, this seems like a you problem, my guy. But I was the asshole there. Yeah, I kind of can't defend that. Anyways, kids, I think now is a good time to kind of wrap things up. I think I kind of had fun with this stream. I think, like, would you guys be okay with doing something like this in the future as well? Maybe we could have like themes, like, okay, for today's reading we'll only do toxic family, for today's reading we'll only do wedding stuff, and like that. But the first point, I didn't know he was, yeah, that is true, but still, you beat up a poor guy who's probably minding his own business. So yeah, what do you guys think? We could do like theme wise. I think that would be fun. But until then, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I had fun personally, and I hope you guys did too. Second time he just came to confront me. Oh boy, it's a lot of violence. Anyways, I shall see you guys tomorrow. We're gonna play some Honkai Star Rail and hopefully get whatever with more Stellar Jade for Kafka. Good god, did her banner come out? I hope not. Oh no. Anyways, bye bye. Have a good day or good night wherever you are.